Hello, it's John, Vintage Fisherman. Well, today I'm not working on a fishing reel, a vintage fishing reel, but I'm working on a vintage fishing cart. I built this cart. It's all welded aluminum. My sons and I, Wade and Josh, now goes by Ross. There's my initials. We welded this out of aluminum and used it as my pier cart our pier cart through the late 90s, 2000s, all up until this last year. I got me a big Cadillac cart now. I'll insert a picture right about here. But anyway, I'm gonna revamp this thing. A couple things I didn't like about it over the years. My first pier that I was fishing at when I built this, you had to go through the pier house. So I had to angle my 6'6" solid, rods, one-piece rods, so I could get through the door. And of course, my two-piece, my anchor rods were two-piece, but still 5 foot. So I angled them a little bit, and then for my bait rods, plug-in rods, whatever. So I'm going to straighten them up, and I'm going to add another rod holder on each side. The axle's too far forward, so the weight sometimes will get heavy on the back because of the tackle box, and it'll flip back on me. And I'm gonna go to a bigger tire. I bought a set of these, and I'm gonna move the axle back a few inches and put the tire right near the very back. These are solid. They're made in America by a company called Lap. I don't know if you can see the Lap on there. Very good company. These wheels are used for the pony carts, like the little sulky racers. So they're very sturdy, very durable. Those are pneumatic, and they've gone flat on me before, and that's not fun to lug a flat tire down a pier. So that's one improvement right there. Move the axle. Two improvements: fix the rod holders, move the axle back, bigger tires. This tackle box is going to go, and I'm going to use my Versa stack on the back that I use on my other cart. You'll see it on my other cart's picture. That way I can just pull it off one cart and put it on the other. This thing it's bulky, and there's a lot of wasted space in it. And I don't want to have to move my equipment from one to another. So, and I haven't decided how, but it's going to be a pusher cart. I'm going to have my handle back here, and up here on the front, I'm going to have this gate caster. I'm going to remove this handle. I'm going to put this gate caster up here, and of course cut this off. And I'm probably going to add like a little cutting board for a bait station up here. These are my tip holders. And so when let me explain why I want to change it to a pusher. I used to pull this thing down the cart. So I'd be watching back, make sure nothing fell off or my rod tips didn't get hung on anything. And my heels would get caught up under here because this handle's short. I've kicked my shoe off a time or two. That's one problem. The other problem is if I'm looking back at this, I'm not looking ahead at people back casting. And I've had a close call here and there with hooks. And those of you who fish the Outer Banks know how narrow those piers are. And so it's going to get the handle moved to the back. It's going to be a pusher, three wheel style, where I can look ahead of me when I'm going down the pier. This box here is going to go. This served me well, but the problem is when it rains, and oftentimes we get out there on the pier and a storm rolls up and we just ride it out, it gets full of water, and then my gear gets wet. And that's never fun. So I'm going to put something waterproof on there. The Versa stacks are waterproof. And so that's it. Now, I built this, like I said, I built this thing back in the 90s. I built it where I could take it down pretty quickly. The wheels come off, the handle came off, and I could fold it all up and put it in the trunk of the Taurus sedan that we had as a family then. And my boys were young. I put my rods up on top. I had a Yakima rack on top of the tarps, and I could just throw my rods up there on a rod holder. Of course, they weren't very secure. You'd be traveling, you go into a travel center, I'd always keep one eye on the car when I was getting gas or getting snacks or whatever for the kids. And so it'll serve well for a smaller vehicle, and my girlfriend does have a smaller vehicle, and if we take hers to the coast, we'll have a cart, and she's gonna be fishing with me. So my goal is to have it set up to carry 8 rods, 2 full king setups, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna make the handle. I think I'm gonna come up here. I'm gonna come up right here with the handle and back up here, and then brace it off of here possibly, and have it where it's removable. But anyway, while we're down here, let's go look at some fishing reels. We're here, and there's a new to me older one. Let's look at that thing here. That's an old Eagle Claw rod, and a 209 on, I believe. There's one of my dad's old rods. All these over here, let me turn the camera sideways so we can get them. These are all either some of my old rods and reels, or some of my dad's or my uncle's that we fished with in the 70s. And over here, we'll start with the pin collection. We start with the ultralights. These are all, come with the boxes. They're all pretty good shape. And we go down here. That's your ultralights. Here's your medium lights. I really need a better display, but it is what it is. And then here's your heavy. And I'm a big pin spin fisher guy. I just love them. Okay, and then I've got some, and some of these reels are going to be for sale, folks. In fact, most of my collection is going to go for sale. But I got some, there's an early 700. There's a couple of 700s. There's a 706. Then we get into what is basically called the greeny years, but they're actually blue, and these are 704s. There's the swoosh sides. Then over here I got some Jig Masters. Okay, I got a Baja Special back there, which I will never sell. I love that reel. There's some more jiggies. And then we'll get into the squitters. Squitters are going to be for sale. I'm only going to keep one that has meaning to me. All these squitters, every size right there. And then down here are the Daiwas, and they're a terrible display, but they're all over the place. I just kind of threw these shells up a couple weeks ago. Anything from an ultralight, the mini cast, mini spin, all the way up to the 9000C, which, and some of them are brand new in a box. I've used the 9000, but it's been a long time ago. Over here, here's a whole bunch of reels that I actually still use. There's a bait runner back there, 8500, a 704. If they got line on them, I use them. And so those are there. And then I've got the American reels here: Shakespeare, Pfluger, Langley, Zebco, Bash. And then down here are the Dam Quicks. I've sold some of those recently. Okay. And let's go. I'm going to block the camera for a minute. I'm going to make a little walk, and I want you to see some of the junk in this room. Here are my Mitchells. Some are new in a box. There's an old 5000C I just got done, just did the video on. I finally got the correct handle for it. That's a new old stock handle. It's the oldest bait casting reel I have. That's going back to 1960. And there's nothing really, rare here, but there are some really nice old reels. But also I have my beach cart here, surf cart, which I've got some new tires and wheels for. Well, they're not really balloons, but they're bigger. I'll be setting that up. I don't do a lot of beach fishing anymore. Surf fishing with a cart, I would do more in a vehicle, Jeep. Yeah, there's a 4000C, 7000C. Here's an Ambassador I would use for pompano or something. Here's my bass rigs. Mostly Shimano Ambassadors, some pin spinning reels. I think there might be a Shimano spinning, I don't know. We got a little bit of everything in there. Some Bass Pro Shops, lefties. I use all lefties. And then when we get over here, of course, some of these more king rigs, but there's some inshore stuff there, Ambassadors. There's one of my plug-in rods, and the tip for it's over in a cart. Then I've got this really cool custom paint by me. This is 700 with Z handle and Z spool, and I custom painted it like the Shakespeare, same color as the Shakespeare Royal Maroons. I just want to do something different, and I use this as an anchor rod, Pin Prevail. And there's one of my old fighting rods that's retired now. It's a 113H, another plug-in rod. Can't have enough of those, right? That's on an All-Star, isn't it? That's a nice rod. I like that rod. But all these in here are, not all of them were fighting rods. There's a couple there's a 2-aught, there's a couple 3-aughts, there's a 3-aught high speed, 3-aught black faced. On some really cool rods. There's a St. Croix Safari. That's a, I want to say that's a Abu Garcia. This is my first fighting rod. It's got a roller stripper guide and a roller tip. And I had that's not the original reel that was on there. I had a 114H on there, and I used it for shark, and then I ended up using it for my first fighting rod for king mackerel. And then we're just going through some that I've used over the years and retired them. There's a left-hand 113. I got two left-hand 113s. All these are on pin rods. And going down through one of these might be my son's. There's a 114H, but I don't think that's my original. I think my original is this one right here, and it's mounted on a Senator rod. There is my old 30 International. That one I used as a fighting rod on reel one season. Way too overkill, but when the tarpon are running, I want a big heavy setup. It's retired. And then there's a 9-aught. I had a 9-aught way back in the 2000s. And I sold it, and I wanted another one, so I bought it. I still had the stick it was on. I sold the reel. Don't know why. But anyway, that's some of my collection. That's probably half of it. But back to the cart. This is gonna be a multi-part video, and this is gonna be part one. And as I do work to it, I'll set a camera up and let it roll. And you'll get to see the progression of the cart. This car will end up going to my oldest son. He's moving towards the coast soon, and he'll need a cart and something he can put in his SUV. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. But for now, I'll use it when I need it. And even though I've got the Cadillac cart upstairs, and space isn't a issue with me with a vehicle. I've got 2 vehicles I can go to the pier with, but really just one I can secure my gear in. That's a Denali XL. It's an old Denali XL, nothing new. I wouldn't own a new car, but it's a good, reliable car and or vehicle. I don't surf fish out of it because I don't want to take it out in the salt. It's too nice for that. I got an old Jeep for that, but that Jeep's brutal to drive 8 hours to the coast. It's brutal. But the Denali is a plush, smooth ride, and I can put all my gear in the back of it and some. So, and I may be selling it in an alley and going with my Super Duty Power Stroke, and maybe put a topper on it where I can carry my gear in the back of it. Right now it's just an open bed. But anyway, that's the pier cart that's going to get modified. Stick around. This is part 1. This is John, Vintage Fisherman. Thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel.